Kevin Durant, one of the most unique players the NBA has ever seen. Standing around 7 feet tall with guard-like skills and a member of the elite 50-40-90 club, he's been basically unguardable since the day he stepped into the league. And it's that rare combination of size, handle, and scoring ability that makes it impossible to perfectly recreate him in the NBA 2K26 My Player Builder. But with today being Halloween, I figured it was a perfect time to create the closest build to the Slim Reaper in NBA 2K26. A build that comes equipped with all his signature animations from day one, at the tallest height and wingspan possible, allowing us to accurately capture his smooth game in NBA 2K26. And don't worry for not tuning in on Halloween, because I've designed this build around the cap breaker system. So even if you don't have any cap breakers right now, you'll be able to play exactly like Kevin Durant on day one. But if you have plenty of cap breakers to go around, this build will only get better. So yeah, guys, here we go. Today, I'm going to be bringing you guys my realistic Slim Reaper build in NBA 2K26. Now, like I said, this is going to be the reference build video and cap breaker breakdown for our Kevin Durant. The full gameplay where I play realistically in the random rec, that will be coming next. So definitely keep a lookout for that video. And yeah, as always, if you want to see more realistic builds like this, if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do consider hitting that subscribe button. Drop a like on this video, always does help. And in the comment section, let me know what realistic build you would like to see me put together next. So here we go. We're going to jump right into the builder. And like I said during the intro, it's not possible to perfectly recreate Kevin Durant. We are going to have to go a little bit shorter on the wingspan, but I promise you, we're going to go as long as we can possibly get on his wingspan. Now, throughout Kevin Durant's career, he's been mostly listed around 6'10", 6'11". Some people even consider him to be 7 feet, maybe even taller than 7 feet. But out of all the combinations that I've been looking through, I've been spending a lot of time in this build. I really do think the best height that we can go at is 6'11". The reason why we're not going to be going at 7 foot is because you can't get quick first step. And with Kevin Durant being such a good ball handler, not being able to get that lightning launch out of his dribble moves, I really do think that that would hurt the build. And right here, we're just going to take the weight all the way down to that 68 speed with ball that is going to give us bronze lightning launch. And then for the wingspan, we are going to settle at 7'1". The reason why we can't go any taller than that is because in order to use Kevin Durant's base jumper in this game, you need at least an 89 on your mid-range or your 3-ball. Now, I did find one base that actually looks pretty similar to Kevin Durant. It's the Bowl base. And in order to get Kevin Durant's go-to shot and his pull-ups, you need an 87 mid-range or a 3-ball. So technically, if you want, you could go with a 7'2" wingspan and instead put Kevin Durant's uppers on Bull's base. But at the end of the day, I try to put together the most realistic Kevin Durant build. And in order for us to beat Kevin Durant out there, obviously we need to have all his animation. So we're going to be going one with that 7'1" wingspan. And then for his body on the right hand side, you guys see right there, you can either go with the slender or you can go with the balanced. I prefer to rock with the balance on my Kevin Durant just because it shows a little bit more definition. Obviously, it doesn't make him too bulky out there. We want to make sure that we keep that stature of being the Slim Reaper. So now, like I say, with all my builds, I have two non-negotiables. It has to look like the player on the court, but it also has to play like the player on day one, meaning we have to make sure that we have all Kevin Durant's animations from the get-go. So here we go. The first one we are going to be addressing is his drive and layup. We are going to be boosting these up a little bit after, but let's just quickly address the drive and layup. Kevin Durant's layup animation is unlocked at an 80 overall, so we're going to set that there. And surprisingly, Kevin Durant still doesn't have a dunk package in the game. Now we're going to be moving over to this mid-range. Kevin Durant needs an 89 overall in order to unlock his jump shot. So we're going to be putting that mid-range at an 89 for now. After that, we're going to be going down over here to the ball handle. All of Kevin Durant's dribble moves, they're unlocked at a 70 overall. And then for his dribble style, that is unlocked at a 65 speed with ball. And yeah, with that, we address all of Kevin Durant's animations in the game. Obviously, we're going to be taking his speed and agility high enough in order to unlock his motion style. So let's go ahead and boost these physicals up right now. We're going to be going with the highest speed possible at our 6'11", as well as the highest agility possible at a 72. Now moving down to a strength, we're actually probably going to take this a little bit higher than you're expecting. We're going to take this all the way up to a 79. And once we get to the post control, this is going to unlock a silver post powerhouse badge. Now, I know Kevin Durant, he's not known as a bruiser, but I do feel like he's really good at fighting for his position once he gets the ball in the post. This is just to help us get a little bit better bumps while we're in the post before we go to those post fades. So yeah, really want to make sure that we are able to do that in the post with our Kevin Durant. So we're going to be putting that strength at a 79. And then for the vertical, we are going to be taking that up to a 78 overall rating. Now over here to the close shot, 84, that is tied to our mid-range. That is exactly where we want to be. So 84, silver paint prodigy. You guys know Kevin Durant. He's very good when he's close to the basket, even if it's just not a standing layup next to the basket. Kevin Durant, he does take a lot of pull-ups close to the hoop. So whenever we are in those situations, we want to make sure that we can knock those down. Now for his driving layup, we are going to leave that at an 80 for now. But once I get to the cap breaker portion, I will show you guys, we are going to plan to put some cap breakers into his driving layup to boost that higher later. Now moving over to the driving dunk. Kevin Durant, he is not the flashiest dunker, but He is very capable. Obviously, he's so tall and he's so athletic. He's always been capable of putting someone in the bucket. So we're going to be stopping here at an 85 driving dunk. And once again, once we get to the cap breaker portion of this build, you guys are going to see we are planning on putting some cap breakers into that driving dunk. And then for the standing dunk rating, because Kevin Durant, he is 6'11", we're already so close to getting that rise up badge on the bronze level. So we're just going to bump that up to a 72. And then here is where this build gets a lot of fun, where we really turn into the Slim Reaper out there. We're going to be boosting this post control all the way up to an 87 overall. And we are planning to put some cap breakers into our post control so we can get that post fade phenom badge on Hall of Fame. And then we only have to put one max plus one on it in order to put it up to that legend level. So post fade phenom on legend for a Kevin Durant build. I think that's just going to be so much fun to play with out there. Now for a mid-range shot, we're going to be leaving that at an 89. Later on, we'll put a cap breaker in there to boost it up to 90. And then for our 3-ball, we're just going to settle at an 83 overall rating. For me personally, for our takeover badge, I'm going to be using sharpshooter takeover for the most part. And then with our takeover, we're also going to boost up the 3-ball in our takeover. So yeah, Kevin Durant, I know that he's a really good shooter, definitely worthy of a higher than an 83, but if you really want, you can put some more cap breakers into it later. And with our shooting stats, it doesn't stop there. Kevin Durant, he's been a multi-time 50, 40, 90 club member. So we want to make sure that we can address a very good free throw rating with him. So we're going to take this up to an 85 overall. Now over to the passing. Kevin Durant, he is a very good passer. He's also a willing passer, but in order to make sure that we can get all the rest of the stats on this build, we are just going to settle at a 69 overall rating. Once again, once we get to the cap breaker portion, you guys are going to completely understand why we're going to stop right there. Now over to the ball handle. We already have Kevin Durant's animations unlocked at a 70, but we're going to take his ball handle up to a 73. This is going to get us handles for days on that bronze level and also strong handle on gold. Once again, I know Kevin Durant, he is not a bruiser, but he is very good at handling the ball. That gold strong handle on the base level, that's just going to get us some better animations out there and really be able to open up our game when it comes to our playmaking ability. And then last but not least, our speed with ball, of course, we got to take that up to a 68, max that out. So now we have ourselves bronze lightning launch. Now, moving down to our arterial defense, I think that something about Kevin Durant's game is he's actually a very good defender. I mean, he's so long out there. He's athletic. He has a great feel for the game. He is definitely able to pick up some blocks, some steals, play some good defense. So we're going to address that with our interior defense at a 74. For the perimeter defense, we're just going to max this out. We are 6'11". That means that we don't get the on-ball menace badge. So I want to make sure that we have the highest perimeter defense possible to help us out with getting some bumps on the perimeter, especially when we're matched up against some other power forwards that are listed at 6'8". And they're quicker off the dribble. Now moving down to our steal rating, something that's actually pretty cheap on a 6'11" is the steal rating. So we're just going to take this up to a 60 overall in order to get that bronze interceptor. And last but not least, our block rating. Kevin Durant, he actually is a pretty good shot blocker. So we're going to take this up to an 84 level. And this is going to be useful for multiple reasons, because sometimes, especially if you're playing in the random rec, occasionally, it's not often, but occasionally you do get put at the center position. So, and then also for the situations when we are put at the center position, I do want to make sure that we are able to rebound the ball as well. So we're going to be putting an offensive rebound up to that 80 overall. And then our defensive rebound, we're going to take it all the way up to an 85 for our last and final stat, and that is going to give us box out beats on gold. Now, an 85 defensive rebound when you're put at the center position, it's still not the highest. So what I recommend for the times that you are at the center position, you do have a takeover ready that is going to be boosting your defensive rebound stat. But yeah, this is the build. Now flipping over to our archetype name and the shades of. Once again, whenever I make my builds, I do not care at all about the shades. That is not what I'm designing these builds around, but something cool that I do think about the archetype name is we're called a rim reaping 3-level score. And once again, probably the coolest nickname that Kevin Durant has is Slim Reaper. So the fact that we have reaping in the build name, I do think that's pretty fitting. Okay, so now we are going to get into the cap breaker breakdown for our Kevin Durant build. Now, like I said during the intro, you'll be able to play like Kevin Durant from day one. Even if you have 0 cap breakers right now, you're going to have all of his animations on the build from the get-go. That is how I design all my realistic builds. But on top of that, I also want to design them for in the future. Doesn't matter how many cap breakers you end up with, this build is always going to be getting better, and I do have thresholds in mind designed around that. So starting off here with the driving layup, as you guys can see, I've already put 2 cap breakers into our driving layup, and those were able to get +3. So we're already at an 86 overall on our driving layup. Now we only need to put 2 more into our driving layup. So that's going to be 4 total into our driving layup for that 90 overall rating. And because we did go a little bit higher on our strength, that is going to give us gold physical finisher and really be able to get that finesse game around the rim that Kevin Durant has in real life. For our driving dunk rating, you guys see we only had to do 2 cap breakers in there, and that boosts us up to an 89 overall driving dunk, and that is enough to get us all the basic contact dunk animations. Now moving down to the post control, like I said, we do want to have that Hall of Fame post fade phenom, 3 cap breakers into our post control, boosting up to a 90, and then of course we had to put that 1 cap breaker into our mid range to boost it up to that 90 level. Now moving down to our passing accuracy, the reason why we stopped at the 69 rating is so that we only have to put 2 cap breakers into our passing rating. That'll boost us up to a 75 overall. And at 75 overall, we will have ourselves the silver break starter badge, which is going to be very important considering we are going to be one of the best rebounders on the court right next to the center. And then after that, if you still do have more cap breakers than that, you could pretty much freestyle with whatever you want. Some of them I'll throw out there that I would consider if I did have more cap breakers is I would put 4 into the block rating to boost it up to an 88. And then you only need to put 1 into the vertical rating. And that would get you the gold chase down artist badge just to help you out more with the block ratings. Or you could put 1 cap breaker into your steal rating. That'll boost it up to a 67. And that would get you that bronze glove. Or if you do really enjoy close shot like I do, you could put 5 cap breakers into that close shot rating, and that'll take it up to a 92 overall, and that would give you gold paint prodigy. So yeah, now moving over to our badge sheet, I still have not hit 40 overall on the season, but I will throw up some badges up there that I am planning to use on this Kevin Durant build. As you guys can see, we're really going to turn into the Slim Reaper once we're able to get these max plus 2s and max plus 1s. And for the build specialization, pretty much every build that I'm going to be making this year, just because it is such a grind, I'm going with the playmaking specialization. But for the record, I do think that any specialization that you decide to run on this Kevin Durant build, it is going to be useful out there. But yeah, for me with the playmaking specialization, eventually the cap breakers that we are going to be unlocking, I'll be putting them into the passing accuracy, and then I'll be boosting up lightning launch and like handles for days, or maybe strong handles, something like that. Now moving over to our custom takeovers, I do think it's important to have 2 takeovers ready for this build depending on the lobby that you get into. So for the times that you are put at the power forward, or I guess possibly small forward, they have not put me at small forward yet, but if we're ever put at power forward or small forward, I do run the sharpshooter takeover. And then the stats I like to boost up are 3 ball, speed with ball, and for the time being, while our passing accuracy is still low, I am boosting up our passing accuracy stat just so we can throw better passes out there. And then moving on to our second custom takeover, this is when we are put at the center position. I just like to change it up occasionally and just put the poster machine takeover just because it's so much fun. But yeah, as you guys can see, whenever we're put at the center position, we're going to be boosting up our defensive rebound. That'll take our defensive rebound up to that 90 overall rating. And then our passing accuracy, once again, because we'll probably be throwing even more outlets out there. And then also our interior defense, just in case we go up against a big body down low that's trying to muscle us. KD can put up a little bit better of a fight down there. And then last but not least, our animations, very simple right here. We have Kevin Durant on everything that is possible. For our reverse layup, we do have Victor Wembanyama. Scrolling down here, he doesn't have a spin layup animation, so we're running with Giannis on that. For the triple threat style, I do think that Curry looks pretty good. I feel like Kevin Durant, he holds the ball really low. Another option that you could go with is Zion, but I think Curry looks pretty realistic to KD. For our step back, we're currently running with Pro, and then everything else is Kevin Durant. For our passing style, oh, I didn't even realize we do have Draymond Green because of our playmaking specialization, so I guess I'll run with Draymond Green out there for a little bit, try that out. And then last but not least, we do have a custom dunk package because Kevin Durant, he does not have his own dunk style in the game, but I do believe I put together a pretty good custom dunk package that resembles Kevin Durant's game in real life. So for the 2-foot moving dunks, I only put on the contact dunks right there. Now for the 1-foot moving dunks, I do feel like Kevin Durant, he is primarily a 1-foot leaper. So we went ahead and put the hangs off of one. We went ahead and put the back scratchers on as well. We went with the quick drops and the big man side clutches off one. And then also we do have the contact dunks off of one as well. All of the standing dunks that we do get, we obviously want to put those on. And then of course, all of the alley-oops as well as the contact alley-oops out there. Once again, I feel like for the most part, Kevin Durant, he's been a pretty conservative dunker, hasn't been overly flashy. Apart from his younger days in OKC, I felt like every now and then he'd pull out a windmill or something like that on a fast break. But yeah, you guys, there it is, our most realistic Kevin Durant build that I personally think that you could put together in NBA 2K26. Once again, I do wish that we could have a longer wingspan. That's really the only thing that I don't like about the build, but I don't know, man. His wingspan in real life is 7'5". We have a 7'1" wingspan on him. We obviously want to have a signature jumper in the game. I feel like it's hard to be realistic without his signature jumper. I did my best attempt at recreating his Halloween custom KD 18s. Now in real life, there is a skeleton hand on the shoe, but Obviously in 2K, at least right now, they don't have that shoe in the game. So I did my best to recreate that shoe for the Slim Reaper out there. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for our realistic Slim Reaper build breakdown. If you guys did enjoy this and you want to see more of a realistic playstyle and builds in the future, definitely do drop a like on this video. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. And in the comment section, let me know what realistic build you would like to see me bring to you guys next. And definitely be on the lookout for us taking this Kevin Durant build into the random wreck and playing realistically with him out there. But other than that, man, that's going to do it for this one. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.